While we are all isolating at home, it's time to get back to basics. And today we are heading to the central coast of New South Wales to see what the buzz is about when it comes to beekeeping. And joining us now, Ben Dury of the Humble Hive Collective and Jai Smith, who is founder of the Honey, I'm Home podcast. Hello, fellas. Great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Hey guys, how are we?
Now, why should people be keeping bees in their backyard?
That's a great question. Look, as you can see, we're standing in my backyard and we've actually got 2 hives for a number of different reasons. The first that we went out and purchased a hive for was to help with our pollination. What you can't see on camera here is over behind me here we've got our veggie patch, and bees serve a vital role in pollinating those crops that we take for granted. I think the saying is that 1 in 3 bites of food that you have today have been pollinated by these bees that are sitting next to us.
Wow.
And we've got people, obviously, with the coronavirus, people are scared of lockdown, they're losing their minds, they're buying plants and vegetables and stuff to keep that sustainable. Can a beehive actually ensure you have a honey supply? And how long can someone live on nothing but honey for the rest of their lives?
It can certainly keep you 1.5 metres away from people, that's for sure.
It's a good distance. Yeah, look, like I said before, the reason that we ended up with our first beehive was because we had some really lacklustre years in our veggie patch. We spent a lot of money and a lot of effort in getting, the right soil and the right plants, and there just wasn't a lot of produce coming off. So the next logical step was to hit the books and to learn about the flying friends that are beside us here, and that's our European honeybee. Massive difference the moment that we introduce them into our backyard. And it's not just our backyard. These bees can fly 5 kilometres away from the hive if they're desperate for pollen or nectar. So I'd like to think that we're doing our community service in everyone's veggie patch around here.
Oh, so you get your honey and it also makes your veggies grow better.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, I think to answer your question about the honey, I'm not quite sure how long you could survive on honey. If you ask my 2-year-old, he'd probably survive a long time on it. But there's one thing that's really cool about honey is that it's the only non-perishable food. So the moment the bees are finished with it and they've capped it off, you can leave that jar of honey in the back of your cupboard waiting for the next pandemic, and it'll be right as rain to eat in years to come.
And even if you do die young, what a way to go.
That's true, yeah.
So, Ben, how easy is it to actually set up a hive?
Oh, look, I might throw to Jai on this one, because when we started the podcast, one of the reasons that we did that was because Jai was interested in answering that question. So over to Jai. I guess you can answer that one, mate.
Put me on the spot. So our test for this was, could we explain this to school children in a couple of hours? And the answer is we could, and that really formed the basis of our first podcast episode. And this is something you can learn in a few days, not even a few weeks. But probably the big takeaway is that there's a huge bee community out there, and they're the best people to learn to. So you can join a bee club, you can get registered, and it's one of those ways you can really accelerate the learning and kind of be up and running in a couple of weeks.
Wow. Are there different types of bees? You just mentioned the European honeybee. Is that what you are fostering for beautiful plants and veggies?
Yeah. So look, there's I think it's around 1,500 bee species in New South Wales alone. The European honeybee is the one that gets all of the attention, with good reason. It's a really resilient honeybee that's found all over the world. Some of those other bees that probably don't get the limelight, we've got a lot of native bees. So again, over in our veggie patch, we've got some native stingless bees. They're a social bee that collect pollen and nectar in a similar fashion to the European honeybee, but serve a different role. So they're a lot smaller, and as the name suggests, they're stingless. So it can be maybe a easy step for those at home that are a little bit worried about having the bigger and more productive, but somewhat, I guess, scary.
Stingy.
We're saying this while standing next to a hive.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the native bees too, their hive is only about as big as a shoebox, so you can keep these in much smaller backyards.
Brilliant. Well, you can check out Jai and Ben on Australia's first beekeeping podcast. It's called Honey, I'm Home. Fellas,
Awesome
thanks
title.
for joining us. Great to chat.
That's all
Thank
right.
you.
Look, we're going to get right to it now. We're going to get our little 2-year-old over here and pour some honey for you guys. I hope that's okay. We might send some jars down your way.
What's your 2-year-old's name?
Come on over, Frankie. Frankie's
Frankie.
a beekeeper to be. Yeah, he's a
he
he's a
have a
happy
little
little
suit
man, but
on?
he knows a lot more about bees. He does well, not a suit, but I'll show you what he does have on. Come here, mate. Do you want to say hi to everyone at home? Say hi. So we've got a bee suit on, and he's got his little tool here. We're going to get some honey out. So we'll send it down back down to Sydney with you guys, and he's ready. He's primed, ready to go.
Can we have
so
a
I might
look?
even
Yeah.
let you
Can
show.
we watch him?
He
Yeah.
might show you where we can. Yeah, absolutely. So have a look here, Bubs. Can you throw me a jar?
Here, Frankie, just stand this side.
So
Stand here, mate.
inside here, this is a window into our hive. I don't know if that's coming up on the TV.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
And these frames here are honey frames. So what we're going to do, I need the little pipe as well, Bubs, out of the mason jar. What we're going to do is we're going to use this tool. Well, Frankie's going to show you how easy it is. Do you want to put that in there, mate? He knows what he's doing. At least he likes to think he does. And we're going to twist this round.
Oh, go, Frankie.
I'm not sure. Frankie,
You excited, Frank?
do you want to use that muscles, mate? Okay, give that a big twist. Show everyone how it works.
So strong.
There we go. So strong. Now, just take a step back, and what will happen is all of this honey. This is a special hive design. It's called a flow hive, but the honey literally drips down into a trough, and then out the pipe here. So it'll come out nice and warm. It's at about 36 degrees. So my wife's actually baked us a nice fresh loaf of bread, as everyone's been doing at the moment, and we'll take some of this honey down back to the studio for you guys.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so
gotta
much.
hold it
That's
under this
unreal.
one.
If Frankie can do it, anyone can, right?
Fantastic.
That's right. If 2-year-olds into it, I tell you.
All right. Thanks, fellas.